I want to talk about how the exam is scored because there are some misconceptions out there and I want to dispel them. So each exam edition has what they call a based form, which is used to determine the criteria for passing that particular version of the exam, meaning how many questions must be answered correctly to pass the test. And this form and criteria, they're used as a comparison or a standard for other exam forms, because in the life of an exam edition, like right now we have the 6th, there are updates and variations to this based form. That means there can be dozens of exam forms available at the same time, all of which are going to be compared to and based on the original based form. And here's the thing, each of these forms may vary in difficulty level depending on the specific content that's covered on that specific form. Some are a bit easier, some a bit harder, and the board, they want to ensure fairness. And so to ensure fairness when it comes to difficulty, depending on a specific form's assessed difficulty, they adjust the criteria for passing each specific form. So an easier form may require 80% correct to pass, and a form more difficult than the based form might require only 75% correct to pass. And this is done to keep all test takers at a comparable difficulty level across the different forms. Typically, the base passing score is somewhere around 76%, give or take, but each form, depending on its difficulty level, is compared to that based form, and it might have a slightly higher or lower passing requirement. And this is why we have scaled scores, which, by the way, we've seen in other standardized tests as well. The scaled score is a way to provide a known cutoff, like 400 points. However, a score of 400 could mean approximately somewhere between 75% correct or 80% correct or somewhere in between. We tell our students they should be getting 76% correct, but promote taking a conservative approach and aiming for 80% just in case. And this would be a pretty safe bet if you want to think about minimum requirements. Now, the misconception is that 80% is based on 400 out of 500. Remember, it's not 400 questions correct out of 500 questions. It's 400 to 500. These are the converted scaled scores, not the number of questions. What may be more helpful is to think about getting 140 correct out of 175 questions for 80%, or 133 out of 175 to get a 76%. Also, remember the pilot questions. Now, these are not graded, and therefore they're not part of this equation. But also, you don't know which test questions are pilot questions. So just factor those in when you're being strategic. I hope that helps.